Hey Tribe and YouTube fam, welcome back. In this video, we're gonna get rocking and rolling really quick here because I'm really in the mood to do this. And this is really what we're gonna talk about today is this is the downfall, baby, of if you have high functioning autism, if you have Asperger's, if you're neurodivergent, if you're on the spectrum, this is a downfall. This is kind of why manifesting won't work for you. And even, let me go a little bit farther, even if you have an overactive mind, and what I mean by that is you overthink, you overanalyze. You know what I mean? And so a lot of what we're going to discuss today is it covers a lot of things. It really covers. So even if you think you don't have high functioning autism or you're not on the spectrum, watch this video as well because we're going to discuss some things that will help you out, especially if you have an overactive mind. Like most people do have an overactive mind. They overanalyze, they overthink, and so forth and so forth. So other than that, let's get rocking and rolling. Now, before we get going, it's morning time. I may look sleepy, but that's how Chad rolls. I don't know why. I love to do videos when I look ugly and I look tired. So I have my morning coffee here in this hand. I got my collagen in this hand. I got my device over here. I got something healthy over here. So I might drink along the way just because I love to drink my collagen cold. And that way I don't waste it. Shake that baby up, take a drink here. But let's get rocking and rolling. And the reason I want to share this is because I've been digging into this stuff because I feel like I have high functioning autism or on a spectrum or neurodivergent. My nephew has it. Okay, he's actually been professionally diagnosed since he was in middle school, almost elementary school, middle school. So it's something I've been working through here since I've been up in Surin. Now I've been in Surin for the last 6 months up in Thailand here, and to kind of give you a little bit of history is in a lot of my videos, probably the last 6 months, I don't say it in every single video, of course, but I've always said that I feel like I'm in solitude. There's literally nothing to do. And what I mean by that, there's literally nothing to do. There's really nothing to do. Okay. I feel like I'm on a religious retreat. You get me on that? All I do is focus on me, focus on work, because there's really not any outside vice to tempt me, okay? Because there's really nothing for Thai people to do up here, okay? Now there is stuff to do if you like to drink and if you're an alcoholic or something like that. But if you stay away from that, like I do, like there's nothing to do. There's no places to go, nice restaurants to go eat and do. You can't go and play pool. There's just nothing to do. So, it's really a time for Chad to focus on Chad. And the reason why I say this is because if you are on the spectrum, you have Asperger's, you're high functioning, you have an overactive mind, what you will find is, and this maybe has happened to you, what you will find is that certain environments will trigger you and certain environments won't. You get me on that. Now, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole with this, but you know what I'm talking about, or we can take it a step further. We can go into your dating life. There's certain people that are perfect for you, and there's certain people you're hanging around that will just trigger you. Okay. And, that's what we're going to discuss today and kind of dig deeper, but we're going to use it more on a manifesting standpoint. So I just want to point that out is that lots of times what it is that it's us mastering this superpower. And I talk about this all the time. It doesn't matter if you're an empath, it's about you mastering the superpowers you have and not letting your superpowers overrule you. Okay. Now, if you feel like you're high functioning, you're neurodivergent, you're all on the spectrum, you have an overactive mind, it's about you mastering it, not it taking control of you. When it takes control of you, that's why your life feels like it's always on a spiral. Okay. You're spiraling down or you're spiraling up. You're all over the place because you're not in control of it. Okay. What you have to understand is the more you understand yourself, the better you can master it. You get me? Okay. It's about self-mastery. When we talk about identity work, it's about self-mastery, my friends. It's about mastering you, mastering your mind, mastering this engine right here. Okay. To live life on your terms and live life unapologetically on your terms. Okay. Other than that, I've been talking a lot. So let's get rock and rolling and jump over here on the screen what I want to share with you. And one of the things I want to start off with is that, I when I started thinking about high functioning and stuff like that, there is like a paradox, one master truth I want to share with you. And this is across the board with everything. This is what you have to understand, why you need to control this superpower. Okay. Any superpower you have, why you want to control it. This is a master truth. This is something you're going to walk away with and be, holy shit, Chad. You've been chatting for like 5 minutes and you haven't been telling me anything. Okay. This is what you're going to walk away with, is that, listen, your subconscious mind doesn't care if you're high functioning autistic. It doesn't care if you're anxious. It doesn't care if you're sensitive. It doesn't care if you have Asperger's. It doesn't care if you're an empath. It doesn't care if you overthink or overanalyze. You get me? It doesn't care if you're neurodivergent. It doesn't care if you're obsessive. It doesn't care. That's what you have to understand. Your subconscious mind don't care about you. Okay? Listen to this. It simply reflects the dominant frequency you loop. I'll say this one more time. Okay? Your subconscious mind reflects the dominant frequency, your dominant thoughts, your dominant beliefs that you loop in your mind all day long. Now, if you're high functioning, you know what I'm talking about. When I say loop, it means you're overthinking. Okay, you're overanalyzing. You're thinking about the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And even if you're not neurodivergent, most people do this anyway. Okay, you have to understand with stats. Stats, we have about 70,000 thoughts per day. Okay. Did I say 70,000? About 70% of those are negative. And listen to this, 95% of those is we think on loop. This is a normal person. Okay. We think on loop anyway, but we're thinking the same shit over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And if we take that philosophy, listen, we take that philosophy, no matter if it's positive or negative, what we're thinking, okay, now take it a step further and take it that your subconscious mind don't care. Your subconscious mind is very, very impersonal to you, okay? It just gives you what you give it. So if you give it a load of crap, well, guess what? It's going to give you crap, okay? If you give it riches, it's going to give you riches, okay? It don't care. You have to understand, you have to walk away with this. Your subconscious mind don't care. Period. Very, very impersonal. For someone with a highly active mind, your superpower is also your greatest liability. This is why I say, not in all my videos, but when I talk about your superpower, no matter if you're an empath, your superpower, no matter if you have Asperger's, that's your superpower. Listen to this, is your superpower, if you don't control it, is also your greatest liability. Your superpower is a double-edged sword. Okay, you either control it or it controls you. And when it controls you, you're really not going to like the results, my friends. Okay, that's how it works. It works on a double-edged sword. This is why I said you have to figure out your superpower and you got to learn how to control it. We all have superpowers, okay? It's up to us to be aware of them. Then once we're aware, we have to control it, baby. Okay, so what we have to understand is if you loop is this environment drains me, no one follows the rules here, I'm trapped here, that becomes the seed your subconscious waters. Okay, listen to this. If you're looping, if you're overthinking, your mind goes into the negative, and this is what you're looping all through the day or on and off through the day. This is what you loop. Lots of times when we wake up in the morning, our mind goes into loop mode, and most of the time it's negative. You ever notice that when you wake up in the morning, you're getting ready, you're kind of like murmuring, complaining to yourself in your mind? You ever notice that? Or am I the only crazy one? When I get up and make my cup of coffee, I have to be careful what I'm thinking. If I go on a walk and I'm walking by myself in solitude, I got to be careful what I'm thinking about. Okay, just to be transparent. Since I'm holding this, let me take a sip. So listen, if you're overthinking and you're looping negative thoughts, and it's about, I'm using Thailand as an example, it's about this environment drains me. I'm in solitude. There's nothing to do. I've been here 6 months. Holy hell. Okay. No one follows the rules here. I mean, you'll get this if you live in Asia, like even locals, they don't like to follow the rules. They throw trash over the place. They litter, they throw trash on property that's not theirs and they burn it. You get me? And if you have a highly overactive mind, what will happen is you kind of zone into it. Okay. You zone into it without even realizing you zone into it. And that's what you end up looping. And you end up looping like, I'm trapped here. I can't get out. Why am I here? You know what I mean? And so what you have to understand is your subconscious mind don't care. It doesn't care, baby. It doesn't care if you have high functioning autism. It doesn't care if you have Asperger's. It doesn't care. Okay. Listen, that becomes the seed your subconscious waters. Okay. That becomes a seed in your mind. And this right here really kind of reminded me of Neville Goddard. I remember back in 2021, I should do a video on this because 2021 was a very, very special time for me. And I'll actually do a video on this when I'm in the mood. But back in 2021, almost for the whole year, or at least a good 6 months, now I listened to the Pruning Shears of Revision by Neville Goddard. And if you've never listened to that, I'll post a link in the description for you. I listened to that track or that audiobook by Neville Goddard probably 2-3 times every single day. I would listen to it when I would wake up in the morning and go eat breakfast because I lived in Thailand at the time. Back in 2021, I lived in Thailand. I lived in Phuket, Thailand, and I did resort living for a year. So I just want to put that out there. So when I say when I got up and went to breakfast, I went to the buffet breakfast. Okay, and I would have an earpiece in my phone, and I would be listening to the Pruning Shears of Revision. When I took a walk by myself, I would be listening to the Pruning Shears of Revision. That was my favorite audiobook by Neville Goddard, and it's all about what we're talking about today. It's about your mind is a garden. Okay. And you need pruning shears. You need to prune your garden, meaning you need to prune the weeds in your mind. What are weeds? The weeds are your negative thoughts, negative thought patterns, negative things that happen to you. You need to prune your garden. Okay. You need to keep it beautiful in your mind. And this is really what leads into Neville Goddard's revision technique. Okay, which I won't go down the rabbit hole with this, but that's where the revision technique comes from. Is because when you prune your garden, you revise your day at the same time. Okay. So when it says that becomes the seed your subconscious waters, because when you're thinking on loop, you're watering it. You're giving it more energy. It's growing. Okay. Those roots are growing in your mind, and it's going to overtake you. And when it overtakes you, you're going to start manifesting what you're thinking on loop. Okay. But the opposite is true too. If your loop is, I build the environment around me, I'm in control. Okay. My subconscious mind listens to me, baby. Okay. I choose my structure. I choose where I'm going to be. I choose where I live. Okay. I create clarity. That becomes your reality, and that becomes your reality very, very fast. Okay. Because when you have an overactive mind and you're overthinking, overanalyzing, it's not about, listen to this. It's not about stopping your overthinking or overanalyzing. You get me on that? Okay. It's not about stopping your overactive mind, because you're not going to stop it, my friends. You're just not. Okay. 100%. You're not going to stop it. Okay. But what you have to recognize is it's your superpower. Okay. What I say in the beginning, you have to control your superpower. Okay. Again, whatever you're thinking on loop, you become self-aware of what you're thinking. Once you become self-aware, you're thinking crap over here, and you start changing what you're thinking about. Okay. Makes sense a little bit? Let's move on. We're almost done here. Okay. Now let's really combine like high functioning autism, Asperger's, a high performance mind, plus Neville Goddard teachings, Neville Goddard techniques equals precision manifestations. Okay. How to manifest. When you're combining we're combining both worlds. We're combining the manifesting world and you having an overactive mind. Okay. Listen to this. You're not broken. You're built for high resolution reality creation. That's what you have to understand. You're not broken. Okay. This is why I think I started to do these videos, is because I think when a lot of people who have autism, high functioning, you have Asperger's, you overthink, you overanalyze, you're an empath, whatever. And when we go through the school system, especially if we're young like that, and it shows itself in the school system, Of course, we're not, they try to put us into a box and we don't fit in that box. And since we don't fit in that box, we're different over here. Okay. And since we're different over here, we grow up thinking we're different. We grow up, we're not like everybody else, but we look at it as a negative. Okay. And maybe we were treated like that too. I mean, lots of, we go through the school system, the school system can be very, very rough. The teachers can be rough with you. Kids can be rough. Okay. Adults can be rough. You know what I mean? Most of the time, the adults don't even understand. Okay. I mean, I have a lot of stories about this, even with Carson, my nephew, when he was going through middle school and high school, being diagnosed with high functioning autism. And the school system wouldn't obey. And I don't know, I forget the terms. I would have to talk to my sister, because she would know kind of how the school system has to abide by the laws around autistic children and stuff like that, high functioning. And she actually had to hire an attorney and take the school system to court. You know what I mean? Because even the school systems don't want to follow the guidelines around this stuff. But that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But again, the whole point is that you're not broken, baby. You're not broken. Okay. It's a superpower. You have a superpower that most people don't have. But in the beginning, you don't realize it's a superpower, and you're letting the superpower control you. And you're letting everybody else control you around you. You're letting their thoughts control you, and you're thinking on loop. You see where I'm going with this. Okay. And you think there's something wrong with you, when in reality, there's nothing wrong with you. You just need to control your superpower. Okay. You need to be aware of it first, then you control it. Is it going to be easy? No, but you can do it, So you're not broken. You're built for high resolution reality creation. This is what I mean. Your mind's like a supercomputer. Your mind's like very, very high performance. That's why they call it high functioning autism, because your mind's high performance. Okay. That's why it calls it that. It's like your mind's like an Olympic athlete. Look at it that way. Okay. Your mind's working overtime, baby. Okay. It doesn't stop. That's why I say your mind is built for high resolution reality creation. What I mean by that, high resolution manifesting. Okay. This is where we're going to discuss here. This is where you manifest as a flippant superhero. Okay. You manifest better than anybody else. Okay. Once you manage a superpower, you manifest way better than the average person. That's what I mean. Okay. This is what you have to walk away with. Okay. But this only happens when you own the mental loop and take command of the output. What does that mean? You own the mental loop. That means you're looping, you're thinking on loop, no matter positive or negative, but you own it. You control it, baby. You control what you're thinking about on loop. That's why I said it's not about not doing it. It's about what are you thinking about? Okay. And you change it. Okay. Now you change it either with an affirmation or you totally change it. Okay. And you take command to the output. So you're in control. Okay. Now, once you do this, that's self-mastery. That's not suppression. You're not suppressing your superpower. You're not suppressing not thinking negative. You're not suppressing not thinking on loop. Okay. You're not suppressing overanalyzing and overthinking. You're not suppressing it. Okay. You're not trying to get it dormant. Okay. You're using it as a superpower, but you need to control what you're thinking about. That's self-mastery. It's not about, sorry about that. It's not about turn off your mind. It's about direct the machine. That's another way to put it. It's not about not trying to turn off your mind, stop thinking. It's about directing the machine, directing the supercomputer you have right here. Okay, up in your mind, directing your thoughts, where you want your thoughts to go. Okay, that's self-mastery. Now let's do some real talk here for a second. You see, your subconscious mind is like a perfect soldier. It doesn't care what orders it receives. It just executes. And this is just another example of your subconscious mind don't care about you. It just gives you what you give it, bottom line. Okay. Your subconscious mind isn't trying to figure out what's right or wrong. Okay. It's not trying to figure out what's true or false. It just gives you what you give it, period. Okay. It's just another way of saying it. Your subconscious mind is like a perfect soldier. It doesn't care what orders it receives, it just executes, period. That's what makes identity work non-negotiable for someone like you. You can't afford sloppy inputs. You can't afford an environment that leaks because your system absorbs fast and loops deeper than most. See, this is why you have to control the superpower. I'll read it one more time for you. Okay, now listen. That's what makes identity work. When you're working on your identity, you're working on that most successful version of you, not work non-negotiable for someone like you. Okay, you have to be very, very non-negotiable. Well, once you set your standards, your frame standards and boundaries, and you set your non-negotiables, you really stick to them. Period. Okay. Once you really stick to them, it's really going to work as a flipping superpower for you. Okay. Listen to this. You can't afford sloppy inputs. Okay, you can't afford just thinking on loop, thinking negative all day long. You can't afford to do this. And this is why. You can't afford an environment that leaks your energy. Why? Okay, because your system absorbs fast. When you have a high functioning mind, your system absorbs fast and loops deeper than most people. Did you get this? It loops deeper than most people. This is why you have to take control of your superpower. This is why you have to take control. And this is why on the positive side, once you do take control, this is why manifesting works better for you than most people, because you absorb way more quicker. Okay. You loop way more deeper than most people. But once you have it work for you, manifesting is like on steroids for you. Okay. So here's a diamond in the rough here for you for a second. Listen, if you don't master this high functioning mind, if you don't master this supercomputer, okay, you don't master overthinking, overanalyzing, you don't master looping, this is what I'm saying. It will create realities I never consciously chose. Okay. Why is this? Okay. It's the same stuff we're talking about. I mean, why would you listen, if you don't master yourself, that has nothing to do at this point, let's say it has nothing to do with high functioning. Listen, it just comes down to, if I don't master myself, if I don't master my mind, if I don't master what I'm looping, if I don't master what I'm thinking about, listen, I will create realities I never consciously chose. Why? It's because what we've been talking about is because your subconscious mind don't care. Your subconscious mind don't care about you, baby. Your subconscious mind just gives you what you give it. So what are you giving it? Okay, are you constantly feeding it negative? So it's going to give you a negative. These are laws of the universe. The laws of the universe are very, very impersonal. Okay, if you take a spiritual law like you reap what you sow, okay, what are you sowing? If you're sowing negative thoughts on a loop all day long, well, that's what you're going to reap. You know what I mean? If you put out good, good has to come back to you. But the reverse is also true. If you put out bad, bad has to come back to you also. Okay. There's always an opposite. There's always a polar opposite. Okay. To each laws of the universe. If there's a hot, there has to be a cold. There's an up, there has to be a down. If there's a left, there has to be a right. You get me? If there's a good, there has to be a bad, baby. If there's a positive, there has to be a negative. Okay. So each of these laws have a direct polar opposite. So what you're doing is, that's why you have to pay attention. What are you putting out to the universe? What commands am I giving my subconscious mind? Okay, because it's just giving me what I give it, period. Okay. So listen, I'll read it one more time and we'll move on. If you don't master your high functioning mind, it will create realities I never consciously chose. But the big but here, if I do master it, I can bend reality faster than anyone because my system is already on overdrive. Holy hell. See, this is kind of digging a little bit deep into your superpower. Listen to this. If you do master it, okay, when you actually master it and have self-mastery over yourself, self-mastery over your mind, you can bend reality faster than anybody else. And I have a great video on this. I think it's actually called How to Bend Reality. I'll post that video down below in the description. Check out that video. And what you have to understand is that I'll read the whole quote again for you. If you do master it, I can bend reality faster than anyone because my system is already on overdrive. Okay, why is your system on overdrive? Because you're high functioning. Okay. You have a high functioning performance mind. Okay. Your mind don't shut off. That's why sometimes when people who have high functioning is they have trouble thinking, they have trouble sleeping. The reason why they have trouble sleeping is their mind never shuts off. That's why lots of times people have high functioning, they wear earphones a lot. Okay. I mean, I did a video on Alex Emozi about this. Okay. Okay, they wear noise canceling earphones. Okay, or they listen to music all the time. Sometimes they watch TV or watch video games because they do something that basically quiets their mind. Okay, that's basically what they're doing, or they're trying to quiet the mind. That way their mind isn't all over the place. Okay, that's what it means, that your system is already on overdrive. If your system's already on overdrive, you're basically going to outpace somebody else. Bottom line, okay, especially in the manifesting world. Once you get self mastery for yourself, that's why I say you're gonna manifest like a flipping superhero. Okay. So what you have to understand is this isn't the struggle. Okay, a high functioning mind isn't a struggle. It's a gift. It's a gift. You were given a gift with a demand for precision. You were given a gift, but you have to learn how to control this gift. You have to learn how to use this gift. Okay. But it's really a gift. You just have to learn how to use it. Okay. But when you go through the school system isn't teaching self-mastery. It isn't teaching you how to use it. Okay. It's just teaching you that it's teaching you that, oh, it's bad. You're not like everybody else. We're not fitting you in this little box, how your mind works. Okay. Or how you think. Okay. Even though this information has been around as long as I've been alive. And after you study this information, even when I went to college, even a lot of my friends were teachers. And, I knew their class, but I was going to be a teacher at one point. So I knew the classes you had to take as a teacher. Even though they teach this in your teaching credentials going through school, they still don't apply this information in the classroom. Okay. Why? I have no clue. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but this information has been around. This isn't new information, my friends. This has been around, okay, as long as I've been alive. This has been around as long as I've been in personal development. You get me on this? So this isn't new information. Okay. But other than that, YouTube fam and tribe, let's wrap up this video. Just want to share those thoughts. I kind of woke up kind of thinking that way and I was kind of in the mood to do a video and share it, help you guys out. And that's why I did. But anyway, love to hear your comments on it. Comment below. Love to hear your feedback. On top of that, check out the description because like I said in the video, there's a couple videos I'll put inside the description for you that I recommended for you to watch. Those will be in the description. Also, there's other nuggets in the description for you to check out to help you out. Other than that, peace out. Remember, I love you guys and I'll see you in the next video.